Today we're going to talk about if you actually need crew leaders and or a branch manager, general manager, who should do the selling, all that good stuff. In case you didn't know, I'm Dean from Full Circle Landscape Solutions, or Full Circle Lawn and Pest, as we're switching to, and let's get into it. So the way we've run things is a very flat structure, right? So we've always had a general manager that does, the estimates, the management, managing projects, dealing with upset customers, all that kind of stuff. And then they have a team of, right now it was a team of 15 people. That job is really difficult. There's a lot to do in that role. And especially because we didn't have any, crew leaders. I'm going to call them team leaders for the rest of the video, but because that's what we're calling them. But we didn't have any team leaders. So he's in charge of everything, in charge of a lot of the training and stuff. Obviously they do get training pay in the field, and they're supposed to train the new people, but there's nobody really accountable for that. And so it was causing a little bit of problems. And if everybody's accountable, then nobody's accountable, because that's how accountability works. So yeah. That being said, we're going to implement team leaders. Now, we haven't tested this yet, so take this with a grain of salt. But what we're doing now is we're going to be adding team leaders in kind of a testing fashion, but giving people a little bit of a title as a team leader, and then a little bit of an increase in pay, and they're going to be the ones responsible for making sure the work's done to standards, caring for the equipment, make sure the customer is happy, effectively caring for the equipment, and then making sure the customer is happy. So that's going to be their job. And what we're trying to do is take the burden and the responsibility and the decision making and push it down as far as possible, kind of like Jocko Willing talks about with the SEAL teams. I got that from a coach of mine, thank you. And basically pushing everything down as low as it can possibly be in the organization, so that way it's just more efficient, right? The decisions are being made at the battlefield or on the landscape job, but so with that being said, that's what we're trying to do. And so we're going to have team leaders that are going to be in that role, and then a branch manager instead of a general manager. The differentiating factor there for us is going to be that, the biggest thing is going to be that the branch manager is not doing estimates, but whatever. So we're going to have very close to the same role though. So the branch manager is going to be in charge of all the team leaders, and this way, instead of being in charge of 14, 15 people, as we continue to grow this year, 18 people, they're going to be responsible for 5 people or 6 people or maybe even 7 people. So a lot easier, almost half of, or a little less than half of what they were responsible before as far as people go. And that way they can spend more time developing those people, and then the team leaders can then develop their team members, which is going to be really, really cool. And yeah, so that's kind of going to be the structure on the field team side. But then what we're also doing is taking the estimates off of the branch manager's plate and putting that into a separate sales function. The reason being there is twofold. But the biggest one being that we want to free up their headspace and their time so they can really focus on their team and work in the field if as needed, right? Work in the field, we want them to spend half their time in the field. Because if they spend half their time in the field working, they have a really good pulse of what's going on, be there to help jobs that are having problems, make sure everything's getting done to standards, and make sure everybody's always trained up. And we have a lot of really, really great people in the field, and all the team leaders know what they're doing. If team leader's out sick, it's not a huge deal. They can just cover for them, and they don't have estimates they need to make it to. Now, obviously, they'll still have their responsibilities. They'll still have to be assigning people on the schedule. They'll still be responsible for staying on schedule. They'll have to meet with customers if there's an upset customer. But at that, in general, they're going to be able to spend all their focus on the field and not worrying about the estimate side. And then we're going to have a separate sales function, which I'm going to fulfill right now, just because it doesn't make sense for us to pay a salesperson, because I'm pretty good. This is not me tooting my horn. I'm pretty decent at sales. I want to get better as well. So it's a great role for me to take. But we have all the stuff. We have all the systems for it. We have all the estimating systems, because it's been not done by me in the past. And so if we ever want to fill that role, I'm not worried about it, because I can get somebody in and train up in 2 weeks. Now, they may not have as high of a closing percentage as me, but at the same time, what I was worried about, why I didn't want to do it initially, is because I'm then I'm a part of the business, and the business can't run without me. Because I'm in the sales function, which is critical, right? But I'm also in the marketing function, which is also critical. But it's not as critical in the day-to-day, but whatever. So it's if I want to be in charge of that sales function for right now, because I want to get a really good grasp on it and get our everything where I want it to be. Our close rates have been really good. They dipped down the past 2-3 weeks, but our close rates have been really good all season and were great last year. And so me stepping back into that role should be no problem. And then I can always grow back out of it whenever it makes sense for the company or for me, or there's something better I should be doing with my time. Because that's the thing. It's what's the best thing I can do with my time? And right now, at least where I'm at, the best thing I should be doing with my time is selling new customers, getting new jobs done, getting things booked out, getting the hourly rates that we need to get, and making sure that that's all taken care of, doing the marketing. And that's basically what my role should be in the company as I'm looking at our org chart right now, is going to be the marketing, and the sales. Obviously I'm doing a little bit of branch manager stuff initially, and then I'm going to fade away from that completely. I just want to help get everything spun up. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at now as far as the roles in the company. And then all the branch managers, just as a quick aside, the branch managers, right, we're going to be having two about in the next probably month. We'll have two branch managers at the two different branches that we're going to have, and then a fertilization manager, if you will, but it's just one dude on that department right now, so small on the FERT side, but we're growing that a lot, so there will be fertilization whatever managers, but branch managers or whatever on the FERT side as well. But and then they'll all roll up to one operations manager, and then that's going to be kind of the operations side of the business. So that should make everything a lot simpler. I'm glad I was able to, express this to you guys because it helps me clarify my own thoughts, and I really appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, that's what we got going on, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Let me know what you guys do and what your structure is down below because I'm curious. So thank you. Talk to you soon.